In the next half hour, you're going to meet a man who has a devoted following across India and indeed around the world. While yoga and meditation are at the core of his teachings to promote individual growth, the work of the foundation covers conservation, education and health. And you'll find him astonishingly pragmatic on a range of very modern-day problems. Let's meet Sadhguru.
For the very first time in the history of humanity, we have the necessary resource, we have the necessary capability, we have the necessary technology to address every human problem on the planet. But the only thing that is missing is consciousness.
If you could first tell our viewers, what is the idea behind it? Initiative, insight, which is more specific towards entrepreneurs.
Whatever the nature of your business, ultimately, it is all about human well-being.
President Pranab Mukherjee felicitating his Sadhguru for all his spiritual contribution.
Und wir haben das ja heute, glaube ich, schon ein paar Mal geübt. Ich würde sagen, wir zeigen jetzt gleich mal einem Guru, wie man richtig Hallo sagt in Deutschland. Und dafür könnt ihr alle auch noch mal ganz kurz aufstehen und Sadhguru einen ganz, ganz herzlichen Applaus geben, der jetzt sofort live zugeschaltet wird. Welcome, Sadhguru.
Good evening everyone. And good evening, Laura. Please be seated. I wish I could speak to all of you in German language, but that's not going to work today. So please.
Namaste, Sadhguru.
Namaskaram.
Namaste. It's a pleasure to have you here. I'm really excited. My name is Laura, and I have the pleasure to talk to you today. And
Namaskaram.
how are you? How do you feel?
Just got off the plane from East Coast to here, so I'm fine. Been flying, so I should be okay.
So we are really, really excited to have you here. And I've been reading a lot about you. And as you know, today we have an entrepreneur conference here. And I know that when you have been around my age, that you had your own business. You started with a chicken.
What do you mean? I'm younger than you. Huh? I've never been your age.
And when you have been like me, you started as a chicken farmer, as far as I know. And I was wondering, with all the knowledge you have now about yoga, about spirituality, all the wisdom you have gathered, and you imagine you would go back in time 2 years when you have been a chicken farmer, would you do something different? How would you do your business today if you would start a business today? What would you do different? Or would you do something different at all?
Well, anyway, to correct that, I was not a chicken farmer. I was someone who crisscrossed India on my motorcycle, and when I saw that I need to cross the India's borders and go, one of the barriers was I didn't have the papers, another barrier was I didn't have the needed money. So I thought, I'll do something which will make me some quick money and I'll be back on my motorcycle. So my interest was not chicken farming, nor construction that I got into later. But construction a little more out of interest, chicken farming definitely not out of interest. I wanted to do something because that will have a short lifespan that I could make the needed money and leave. Well, I made the money but I didn't leave because and you said you're gathering of wisdom. I would like to make it clear to all the entrepreneurs who are here, you never gather wisdom. You need to cultivate wisdom within yourself. You can gather information, but information will not necessarily become wisdom. One has to curate, one has to mature within oneself for information to become wisdom. And also, for wisdom to evolve, information is not always the ingredient. It is not because of a certain volume of information somebody becomes wise. You can gather as much information as you want, but still wisdom may not happen. So these two are two different dimensions within the human being. So if I go back, how would I do business differently? I don't think I would have done differently, the same thing. If I do business, I understand it is being done to a certain end, it's not a goal by itself. It is just a method, a process of conducting economic activity. And I think this is the mistake that we are making right now in the world. Everybody is talking about economy as if it's the ultimate nature of our life. Economy is just an organized way of handling our survival process. We should not exaggerate it beyond that point. Because by exaggerating this beyond that point, now we are leading ourselves to a place where our economic activity, which is supposed to be our well-being, is uprooting the very basis of our well-being, which is the planet itself. When I happened to be in the Economic Forum and they were… that was 2008, and there was a little bit of recession happening in the Western economies, and I saw a lot of billionaires in a depressed mode, and they asked me to handle a session called recession and depression. I said, recession is bad enough, why do you need to be depressed on top of it? But anyway, we have structured our economic activity in such a way that if we fail, we'll be depressed. If we succeed, we will be damned. In the sense, where is our economic activity going? For more and more and more? But there is no more and more. Right now, they are saying, the Living Earth statistics is saying that if every citizen on this planet gets or aspires to get what an average American citizen has right now, we need 4.5 planets to fulfill that. Well, we don't have 4.5 planets, we only actually have only half a planet left, one half we've really used it up. So, it is very important that everybody understands economic activity is in pursuit of our well-being. It is not a goal by itself. So, even then I saw it that way, even now I see it this way, so that's not changed in any way.
Thank you so much. And you are a yogi, you live yoga, and I'm wondering, as we are here most of the time in our daily lives, busy doing our things, what would you say, how can we integrate yoga in a way, because you said at the end it's a lot about health, it's about consciousness, how can we get away from this, I would say, like ego thinking, that it has to be more and more and more, and get more into ourselves, into the consciousness? How can we integrate the wisdom of yoga more into our daily lives? What would you say?
See, I think because of the nature of education that most human beings on the planet are going through right now, we are always thinking of accumulation. Whether it's accumulation of money or wealth or knowledge or whatever else, everybody wants to accumulate something. This has come to us because there is one dimension of us which is physical. Our physical bodies are an accumulation over a period of time. The mental content is also an accumulation. The content of the body and the content of the mind are an accumulation. If you're very deeply identified with the nature of your body and the nature of your mind, inevitably you think accumulation is the way. It is almost automatic that once you are identified with your physical body and the nature of your mind, you will naturally think accumulation is the way. If you are who you are only because of the accumulations that you have, either in terms of money, wealth, body, mind or relationships or whatever, things that you accumulated, then that means you are a heap of things that you gathered. When you're a heap of things that you've gathered, the fear of losing it is always imminent. This is why with wealth, with prosperity, there is no sense of peace or joy in people because they are still insecure. In fact, they've become much more insecure than how a caveman used to live. When human beings were just out in the open, finding shelter under trees or caves, how much ease they had in their life, even that much ease the modern societies do not have, simply because who they are is simply determined by what they have gathered, but not by what they are. In the sense, we are referred to as human beings. No other creature is referred to as a being. We don't say a tiger being, an elephant being, an ant being or anything like that. We say a human being. This means we are supposed to know how to be. We are supposed to know how to be, because most human beings have not brought in touch with this dimension, essentially because of the nature of our education, which was the present education that across the world that is happening is a requirement that they had when industrialization happened at a certain scale. They needed to feed to the industries to somehow take it going. Now we are coming to a point that whole lot of things are anyway done by the machines and more things will be done by the machines. Some people are fearing that their jobs will be taken away, artificial intelligence is coming. Isn't it wonderful if all the work on the planet is done by the machines? You can simply be, meditate, walk on the beach, enjoy yourself. Isn't that the best way to live? But people are worried their jobs will go away. So if all work, physical and mental, intellectual work that you're doing is taken up by the machines, it's a dream world, because that is when you can truly meditate, that is when you can truly be, because these thousands of years have gone with concerns of survival. I want you to understand this. 1,000 years ago, if you were here on this planet, if you wanted your morning bucket of water, probably you had to walk down to the river and carry this back. If you had to fulfill the water requirements of your entire family, maybe 10 times or 15 times you had to carry this. Today, most human beings are not even fit enough to carry a bucket full of water for a kilometer or a mile. So, for the first time in the history of humanity, our survival process is organized better than ever before. This is the time that we have the opportunity to explore the full depth and dimension of what it means to be a human being. This is the time to do it. The rest of the activity we've been doing for 10,000 years can be easily taken over by machines. your factories, your offices, your computing, your accounting, and even administration can be largely done by the machines probably in the next 25 years if you allow it if you allow it. But right now, for the last 150 years, we've been busy making human beings to work like machines.
Yeah, it's true.
This is the greatest mistake we have done, that because we wanted a certain level of efficiency or productivity, we turned human beings into machines. That's what our schooling system is, that's what our education systems are, that's what our industry is. It is time, for the first time we have the opportunity, machines can do all the jobs that machines can do, and human beings can learn to be, because we are human beings. This is what is significant about us.
Yeah.
In America, there is a saying there is a culture where people say, "Thank God it's Friday." Thank God it's any day. You're still alive and it's any day, it's fantastic.
It's true.
Because this comes from an experience that you do not enjoy the activity that you're doing, you do not enjoy whatever you're creating in your life, but only when you get a break, that is thank God, it's Friday. It is time that human beings move above this, because it is this level of unpleasantness of experience and irritations and agitations which is making human beings do all kinds of cruel things to each other.
Yeah.
If we want human beings to truly function as human beings, it is essential that we are not identified with things that we accumulated. We accumulate things to the extent it's necessary for us. There is nothing right or wrong about it. It is just that you've accumulated this body, it should be only to the extent it's necessary. If you accumulate more, you will not become better, you will suffer. The same goes with everything. If you accumulate more of anything, then it only causes more distress. Right now, instead of weighing 70 kilograms, if you weigh 150 kilograms or 200 kilograms, some man in Mexico, it seems, was weighing 500 kilograms. Just imagine yourself, you accumulated a lot because body is good. You know, body is good. So you accumulated a lot of body, you became 500 kilograms. Well, we need a crane to get you out of this building right now. We need the help of machines to even move you out of this building. That's what will happen.
Okay, so if…
When you identify with your accumulations, and because you have more accumulations than somebody else, we're not talking about fat now, let's say money or wealth or knowledge, you have more accumulations than somebody else, this is your idea of being better than somebody else. Now, what it means is, you are enjoying something that somebody cannot have. When you enjoy what others cannot have, I call that sickness. That's not well-being, that's not joy.
It's true.
So human experience and human possibilities and human capability to enhance our perception has not been explored for a long time, simply because we are busy meeting our survival requirements. This is going away now, that our survival is not even a problem. Our survival is organized in ways that we could not imagine possible 100 years ago. Now this is the time a human being has to explore the full depth and dimension of who we are. Only in this we will find dimensions of the beyond. When we say yoga or yogi that you mentioned, it's just like this. The word yoga does not mean twisting your body, turning your body or standing on your head. The word yoga means union. Union means that there are many ways to look at it. The simplest way is, I'm sure though you're in Germany, all of you are breathing, aren't you? Hello? I want an answer. Are you breathing? Yes. So breathing means something that is not you, something that's in the atmosphere is becoming you, and something that was you just a few minutes ago is going away. this is continuously happening. Well, this is happening with food, this is happening with water that you drink. They say every fortnight, about 7 kilograms of your body, old body is gone, and new 7 kilograms have come unless you added 15. You're not getting it. So, if 7 kilograms has been lost in a fortnight, even if you're 70 kilograms, in 10 fortnights or in 5 months, you have completely lost your old body. But you are so identified with it that you don't notice it, you think this is me. So the moment you're identified with whatever you have accumulated, maybe it is body, maybe it is a content of your mind in the form of knowledge and what you call as wisdom, or it may be wealth or money or whatever. The moment you are identified with what you have accumulated, then you have no sense of unity with everything. You have no sense of union. Yoga means union. Right now you're breathing. Your aliveness is union with the rest of the atmosphere. You eat the food that you eat, you're alive, you're eating and digestion of this food and making this into flesh and bone means you are connected to the earth every day, but this is not in your experience. Well, if you go further, nuclear scientists are telling you every atomic particle, every particle is connected with the whole cosmos, it's happening all the time. If this came into your experience, that you actually experience you're one with everything, then we say you are in yoga. So if you are in yoga, then we refer to you as a yogi. Because you twist and turn your body, that's not yoga, unfortunately. In the Western world, yoga means something physical that you do. Well, twisting and turning is just to make you a little flexible, both in body and mind, but the important thing is to become transparent in such a way that your existence here is with the rest of the existence. Right now, the way human beings have been structured is, it's me versus universe. This is a bad competition to take on.
Yeah. Thank you.
Please.
It makes absolutely sense what you're saying, but the thing is, here, the entire society is actually based on what you accumulate. So it's like we are so conditioned to believe that you are what you possess. And I would really like to know from you, how can we make that more practical? How can we get into being instead of having, without being afraid that you don't count anymore when you just be instead of have? I think it's a process, but I'm just wondering if you have any advice or any idea how we can make that really practical to move from having to being.
You can only be satisfied with having. Right now I will give it to you. The entire universe, I'm going to give it to you, all of you today. You take it.
Thank you.
Hello? It's yours anyway. Who is disputing it? Is there anybody to dispute this universe is not yours, this planet is not yours? I'm giving it to you today, you can receive it from me. The entire cosmos is yours. Hello?
Thank you.
Because the way you are made right now see, why this is happening is, there is an innate longing in the very nature of our existence that wherever you are right now, you want to be something more. This something more, if you get something, you feel you're something more. Let's say everything that you want in your life happened right now today, in the next 5 minutes. Everything that you want to have in your life, you got it right now in the next 5 minutes. Are you fulfilled? No, you want something more.
Probably.
Maybe you'll take 5 minutes to figure out what more. So that also happened in 5 minutes. Then what next? Like this, something more, it's going on. So now let me do one thing. I will make you the king or queen of this planet. How's that? Laura, don't look at me hopefully, huh? You don't believe that I'll commit such a blunder, will you? Suppose you became the queen of this planet or somebody here became the king of this planet, will you be fulfilled, I'm asking you?
Probably
You will look at the
not.
remaining planets.
Yeah.
You will look at the other… rest of the universe. If I give you one galaxy, you look at the next galaxy. This is the nature of the human being, because you are not looking for more, you're looking for all. If you're looking for an infinite expansion, which is what is happening, because it doesn't matter what you have, it's always something more. Just look at this and see, did any other generation ever in the history of humanity, compare yourself to your own parents and grandparents, did any other generation have as many comforts and conveniences and things as you have today? Did any other generation have this? But
No.
still, complaining and cribbing has not stopped. Earlier also people were complaining, but in their neighborhood, but now you made your gossip global because of the Facebook and whatever else. All over the world, people are complaining about everything in the universe. So this is not because they have less than somebody, we have much more than any other generation ever had, so it's not going to settle like this. So, you're looking for expansion, infinite expansion. If you're looking for infinite expansion, and that is finding a very constipated expression in the form of personal ambitions. You must understand the word constipation. Constipation means it happens little by little. That's what it means. Hello? Is there a German
We're
word
here.
for constipation?
We're just listening very concentrated to you.
No, anyway. So, when things happen little by little, people say you're constipated. Now, what is a longing for the infinite is happening in a constipated manner, little by little. You call this your personal ambition. Ambition means constipation. Consciousness means you understand you can have the entire universe for yourself if only you are willing to go beyond the identification of what you have already gathered in the form of body and mind. Because you're identified with your physicality so strongly, you have become a slave to boundaries, because boundaries or defined boundary is the basis of physicality. We call this a physical body because this has a defined boundary. If there was no defined boundary, there can be no physical body. So because we've gotten identified with our physical forms, defined boundaries have become important. Because boundaries have become important, we are thinking only in terms of expanding it little by little in a constipated manner. But what consciousness means, what yoga means is, the entire universe is available for you if you are willing to take it. All that it takes is that you are not identified with your boundaries. So this is not simply a talk or an advice, there is an entire process, a scientific methodology as to how to obliterate the boundaries of your individuality so that your experience is universal. Repeatedly you said, how I gathered my wisdom, I did not gather my wisdom. Even now when I walk on the street, my head is totally empty with nothing in it. But but the entire universe is available to you every moment of your life if you are willing. So if you become 100% willing, 100% yes to life, not considering and saying yes, no, not like this. You are just an absolute yes to life, then you are a yogi.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I would like to hand the microphone over to the audience, because here are beautiful, amazing people who would like to ask you a question as well. So I will just look, who has a question from the audience? We have one there. Do we have a mic runner? with a microphone for the… Can you stand up, please? Yeah, stand up. Yes, thank you. Do we have a mic runner over there? Just 1 second, then you get the question. You get a mic, it's there.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, appreciate, nice to meet you, it's a pleasure. My question is, what means focus to you, and in which way can we apply focus in our daily life? So what's your definition of focus?
Can you please repeat the question? 1 second.
The question was, what is your definition of focus, and how can we use focus in our day-to-day life?
Yes, thanks.
Okay. There are many ways to describe this word. Instead of saying focus, if you use the word attention, would you agree that attention and focus are about the same thing?
Yes.
There is a little difference. There are nuances to it. But when you say focus, it's just like focusing a light on something means only a focus is always a spot. Attention can be much more widespread. See, right now, if you have clear vision, I'm having problems seeing the young man because you kept him in darkness there in the hall. But if the hall was well lit, I don't have to focus myself to see the people who are sitting here. I just need attention. If I'm attentive, I will see all the people here the way they are. But now I get interested in this one young man, then I need focus. If I had only focus without the general attention about everything around me, indiscriminate attention I'm talking about, attention not even about something, just being attentive only because there is a certain level of attention and awareness within you, you even know that you exist. Otherwise, let's say in sleep, in your experience, neither the world exists nor you exist, all that's happened is there is no attention. Because there is no attention, there is no perception of any kind. So first thing is attention, that there is a general grasp of everything. Then there is a particular interest. Then we focus it down to that particular interest. So what is the purpose or what is the definition of focus? What is the use of focus? Where can focus get us? We are focusing on something only because our attention is not keen enough. If our attention was very keen, you would not need to focus on anything. In the yogic systems, we have what is called as dashavadanis, shatavadanis. What this means is, a man will do 10 things at the same time. Another man will do 100 things at the same time. This is, he will articulate a particular musical raga, at the same time he will calculate a very complex arithmetic problem, at the same time he will write poetry, at the same time like this he will do 10 things or 100 things. There are people like this. You can either use that to just be a stage performer, or you can just use it in your life, you're an entrepreneur. It's very important, if you're walking on the street, you're able to see something that most other people cannot see. That is when you become a leader, because you are able to see things others are yet to see. That is when you take up a leadership position, because essentially leadership means you're on a perch. Once you're on a perch, you must see better than others. So attention is that dimension which will put you on that perch. If your attention has to be very keen about everything, then you should stop discriminating in terms of, I like this person, I don't like this person, this is good, this is bad, this is nice, this is not nice, this is useful, this is not useful. If you do not make any kind of discrimination, you just work on your attention, not about being attentive about something, just being super attentive, not about anything. See, right now if you increase the voltage in this hall where you're sitting, when light comes on, light is not thinking in terms of whom should I focus on. When light comes on, everything that is there in that room will be seen. This is important. This is a very important aspect of yogic process is that we go on working on our attention, that we keep on keying up our attention to a higher and higher level, a higher and higher voltage and intensity. Now, we don't encourage focus because focus means consolidate all that attention and put it on one person. Suppose you invested your entire focus on one spot and you found nothing worthwhile in that spot, what will you do at the end of your life? This is what is happening to most lives. Now, you just work on making your attention itself so keen that even if somebody focuses on something, they won't be that keen. If your attention is that keen, you won't miss a thing in this universe. Now, when you don't miss a thing, everybody thinks you're some kind of a superhuman being. No, this is not about being superhuman. This is about realizing being human itself is super. So, if you cultivate your attention, we can give you very dynamic processes through which you can scale up your attention to a higher and higher level. How clearly you see determines how successfully you walk this life, there's no question about it. How much lack of clarity there is in you, that much blundering you will do in your life. Simply there is no question about this. So, if one has to first of all, work towards cultivating this attention, first thing is you stop your sense of discriminatory looking, that you don't look at this person, oh, this is a man, this is a woman, this is a dog, this is that. Simply pay attention without any judgment. If you just pay attention to anything and everything without any judgment, you will see, if you just pay attention to an ant, there are phenomenal things. You're in Germany, who knows if you pay enough attention to an ant, you may come up with the best automobile on the planet because I have not seen any machine moving with as much dexterity as an ant moves. But I think nobody has paid enough attention to an ant. So, attention, raising the bar of attention is more important than focus. For immediate purposes, if you need to focus on something, you can. But right now you can do a simple experiment. If you sit with your face slightly upturned like this and close your eyes, you will see naturally there'll be a focus between your eyebrows. But you can be conscious of many things, people around you, your breath, the sensations in your body. You can be conscious of everything and still be focused. So mental focus is a limited possibility, but the attention, enhancement of attention that ultimately delivers you to a space where you become conscious, or in other people's words, super conscious, is just conscious, but people think you're super conscious. Because of this, you grasp everything as it is. The most important thing for this is that your mind is not functioning like a prism, distorting things and creating designs where they don't exist. Your mind has become like a plain mirror, it just shows everything just the way it is. Only when you see everything just the way it is, you will have the ability to handle everything sensibly. Otherwise, you make a mess out of many things. This is very important for an entrepreneur because you don't have a job. If you have a government job, you don't have to see everything. Even if you blunder around, they still pay you a salary. You're an entrepreneur, you better see clearly, otherwise you're gone.
Sadhguru, I really want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart and from everyone here in this room that you took the time to share your wisdom, which is wisdom for us. And I think we all got a little bit of your enlightenment, kind of, and that we are really, really inspired and really grateful. And we wish you all the best for your entire life, and keep on doing this amazing work and inspiring so many people. And if we can be in service in any way to you, please let us know. And just thank you from everyone here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and the mission here is, we need to understand that, as I said, one aspect of our life is never before our survival was better organized than it is today. And never before was it possible that I could sit in west coast of America, in California, and speak to people in Germany. This is the first time.
Yeah, it's
the first time in the history of humanity that we can speak to the entire world if we wish. Many great beings have come in the past, but when they spoke, hardly 10 people could hear. This is the first time. At a time like this, that when we have this ability to communicate with the entire world, it's our business, all of us, I'm saying, we need to understand this. This is our time on the planet. We must do the right things. We must do things in the next 20 years' time, because anyway your jobs are going to go to the machines. You have a lot of time. We must do the right things in the next 20 years, that the best possible things on this planet were done in our time. This is our time on the planet. The greatest things can happen right now because we are empowered like never before. No generation ever had this possibility and this capability. Let's use this for making human life reach its ultimate peak, because the necessary ecosystem has come. This is the time to make it happen. Let's make it happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's your thank you. Dankeschön. Vielen, vielen Dank.
Laura
Danke.
Seiler!
Danke, danke, danke. Dankeschön.
Laura, lass dich drücken.
Dankeschön.
Super gemacht.
Dankeschön.
Laura Seiler und Sadhguru.